Hello Excel fans! In this series of lessons I'm going to show you how to create from scratch complete fully functional dashboards. I will use some concepts that we've already learned like power pivot tables, but also I will show you how to insert pivot tables and pivot charts. Before we begin to add some pivot tables and charts, we have to design our dashboard with tabs, colors, worksheets, and hyperlinks. So let's dive in. I assume that you've already opened the complete dashboard start Excel file. This file has some data that I already imported into the data model. So if I click Manage from the Power Pivot tab, you will see these three tabs. Also, I already created some metrics like total order quantities, total sales month to date, and year to date. If you look at the right side of the table, you will see some calculated columns like designation order, month, number, month, year, quarter number, and quarter. Close the Power Pivot window. First of all, we want to create a rectangle. The rectangle will be used for different tabs or worksheets. If you prefer, in other words, we want to design 3 buttons, one for each worksheet. Go to Insert tab and from the Illustration section, click on the drop-down arrow from the Shapes button. From the Rectangles collection, I'll choose the rectangle shape. Drag it from A1 to Q4. Let's make some changes to the Shape Format tab. Click on the Shape Fill button. Gradient, and from Light Variations, choose from the center. Again, from Shape Fill button, choose the green color with 60% lighter. Now, from the Shape Effects button, Shape Effects, Bevel, I'll choose Riblet. The next step is to create buttons. Go to Insert tab, Illustration, Shapes, choose Rectangle with rounded corners. Move it somewhere there. And from Shape Effects, Bevel, choose Convex. Also, play with the colors and choose one of these green variations. I prefer green with 25% darker. Copy the shape and paste it 2 times. We need 3 buttons for the dashboard. We'll need to align the buttons. The easiest way to highlight all of the buttons is by holding the Shift key and clicking on them. Then, from the Shape Format tab, Align Options, choose to align in the middle. To keep the same distance from one button to another, I can choose the Distribute Horizontally button. Now we are ready to insert text inside the button. Right-click the first shape, choose Edit Text, type Dashboard. Let's change the format of the text. I'll select size 14, bold, and I'll center the text. Horizontally and vertically. Right-click the second shape, choose Edit Text, and type Stats and Goals. I'll do the same format as the first text. Nice. Let's move on to the third button. Right-click the third shape, choose Edit Text, and type Sales by Country. The same format also goes here. If we want our dashboard to look more professionally visual, we will also add our logo in the top right corner. I will insert my Millen Training Company logo. From the Insert tab, open the Picture drop-down menu and choose to insert a picture from this device. Put it somewhere there. There are a few last changes that we also have to do in the main section. Decrease the width of column A in row 5. We don't want to use this area. Also from the View tab, remove the grid lines. Now we are ready to copy the worksheet and paste it, because we want the same dashboard design from the Stats and Goals worksheet. Go to Sheet 1, right-click on it, select Move or Copy. Check the box, create a copy, select Move to End, and OK. We will rename the worksheets, one by one, starting from the first. Let's begin. Right-click on Sheet 1. Rename and type Dashboard. Now right-click on this and rename it to Stats and Goals. The next step is to link the buttons with the worksheets, so if we click on them, they will direct us to the exact worksheet. We're in the Dashboard worksheet, and let's get started. Right-click the second shape, link, and select Insert Link. We want to link this with the Stats and Goals worksheet. Click the Place in this document button and select the Stats and Goals sheet. Press OK. We will follow the same steps with the Sales by Country button. Now I'm going to repeat exactly the same steps for the button of Stats and Goals worksheet. Pretty straightforward, right? We have the data model and the calculated fields ready, so it's easy to add the key metrics and pivot tables in the worksheets. Let's get started by adding some metrics. Click on B8 cell from the Dashboard worksheet. Move to Power Pivot tab. Click the Manage button and find Pivot Table button from the Home tab. Here it is. I assume that you are already in Custom Orders table. From the drop-down menu, I'll select Pivot Table. We want to create the pivot table in an existing worksheet, so check the bullet and click OK. From the pivot table fields, I will select the following metrics: the value of the total order quantities, the value of total sales month to date and year to date, they appear one by one. Let's add a label, a title. Go to cell B7 and type Key Metrics. Change the format of the title by selecting a red color, 14 is font size, and merge the cells from B7 to E7. Okay. Also, wrap the text in B8 cell and format these numbers in cells C9, D9, and E9 as dollars. We will add another pivot table, and this time we are going to have rows by quarter and sales. Click on B12 cell, then Manage. From Pivot Table Selection, choose to create a pivot table on existing worksheet. The Pivot Table field window appears. From Custom Orders table, drag the quarter field and drop it in the rows area. Also drag the sales field and drop it into the values area. Our new pivot table is ready. It displays the sum of sales per quarter. Now we are going to add a new column that will display in-cell bars for the value of total sales. The function rept is ideal for this type of in-cell charts. Let's start. Highlight D12 cell and type Total Sales Graph as a title. Click on D13 and then type the following function. Equal rept parenthesis, quote, G, quote, comma, C13 divided by 5,000, close parenthesis. The rept repeats the character x times, and x is the number we decide to repeat the given character. For our example, x is the sum of sales divided by 5,000, so 16,000 divided by 5 is approximately 3. If we divided it by a smaller number, then our in-cell bar would be extremely long. Enter and drag it all the way down until D28 cell. Now it's time to change the font. Highlight the cells from D13 to D28, and from Home tab, choose Webdings. And the letter G is converted into a square icon. Also, change the color to blue. We want to put a title to the table. Go to B11 and type Sales per Quarter. Merge the cells and make some visual changes, like changing to font size 14 and putting red as font color. Also convert the sales as a currency with a $sign. We are going to add a donut chart in our dashboard, displaying sales per product container. So we need to create a pivot chart. Let's begin. First, click on G8 cell. It's the start point for our chart. Then go to Power Pivot tab. Click Manage, and from Pivot Table, select Pivot Chart to the existing worksheet. A Pivot Chart Fields dialog box appears on the right-hand side. We are interested in two fields, Product Container and Sales. Drag Product Container field and drop it into the axis area. Also, drag the sales field and drop it into values area. The chart is almost ready. Now we have to change the type of chart. Click on the Design tab and click on the Change Chart Type button. Highlight Pie category and select Donut Chart. Great! Let's make some changes. The chart needs to display some useful information, such as the percent of each product container. An easy way to add labels is to change the chart style. You can do this from the Design tab, Chart Styles, and select Style 8. I think it's ideal. We want to leave the legend, but we don't want field buttons. So we pivot Chart Analyze tab, Field Buttons, and hide all. Finally, we change the title of the chart, type Sales per product container. The second chart that we're going to create is a 3D cluster chart displaying orders per year and quarter. Highlight G23 cell and go to the Power Pivot tab. Click Manage, and from Pivot Table, select Pivot Chart. Choose to create Pivot Chart to existing worksheet and click OK. Drag year and quarters and drop them into axis area. Also drag Order ID field and drop it into values area. We are interested in how many orders we have per quarter. Now we have to change the type of the chart. Click on Design tab and click Change Chart Type button. Highlight Column category and select 3D Clustered Column Chart. We don't need legend, titles, or field buttons. From Pivot Chart Analyze tab, hide all the field buttons. From Design tab, select the first chart style. Now that we are ready to add slicers and timeline into our dashboards. Excel has two fantastic filter tools, slicers and timeline. Both are frequently used in dashboards and help us to read and filter the data better. We will use slicers to filter data visually and a timeline to filter dates interactively, fast and easy. Let's start by creating a timeline. Click in a random cell, click on Insert tab, and from the Filters section, click the Timeline button. A new dialog box appears asking us to make a connection between the timeline and the data model. Click on the Data Model tab and select this Workbook Data Model. Click Open. From this small window dialog box, from all tabs, check the Order Date box and click OK. Move the timeline below this pivot table. Highlight the timeline, and from Timeline tab, choose a timeline style. I will choose the One Dark style. It is important to enable all the connections between the filter, pivot tables, and pivot charts, so press the Report Connections button and check all 4 boxes. Click OK. The timeline is ready and working very well. Do some tests. For example, insert years from this small drop box. Click on 2014 and see the results. Great! To remove the filter, you can do that easily from this small icon, Clear Filter. Now it's time for the slicers. Click in a random cell, go to Insert tab, and again from Filters section, click the Slicer button. A new dialog box appears asking us to make a connection between the slicer and data model. Click on the Data Model tab and select this workbook data model. Click Open. We would like to filter sales per country and product category, so we check only these two boxes, country and product category. Press OK. Our slicers are ready, one for each field. Pretty straightforward, right? Move them beside the charts. Resize them, and change the style from the Slicer tab. Don't forget to connect the slices with pivot tables and charts from Report Connections. Now we'll add titles for the two charts. Click on the first chart title and type Sales per Product Container. Then click on the second chart title and type Sales per Quarter. I always recommend doing some tests if all are working fine, so click on Slicers and check how the values are changing. Let's click on Stats and Goals worksheet. Click on B6 cell. We are going to create 4 charts to enhance our dashboard. First of all, go to Power Pivot tab and press the Manage button. The Power Pivot for Excel window appears. Click the Pivot Table down arrow and select 4 charts. In the next window, select the second option, the existing worksheet. The location is B6 cell. Click OK. You can clearly see the 4 areas of the chart. Highlight the first chart. The Pivot Chart Fields dialog box appears. We are going to add a bar chart displaying sales per customer. We want to take a look at the graph and see who our best customers are. From the Customer Details field, check the last name. From Customer Orders, check Sales. Now we need to change the chart type. From the Design tab, I will change the chart type from this button. The Change Chart Type dialog box opens. I choose the bar category and select the 3D clustered bar chart. Click OK. Let's change the chart style of the bar chart. I will select the first style. I don't want the legend. Highlight it and press the Delete key. Also from the Pivot Chart Analyze tab, open the Field button submenu and select Hide All. Change the title to Sales per Customer and the chart is ready. With a similar way, we are going to add a pie chart with total sales per customer segment, a donut chart with total sales per product category, and finally the average sales per year. Let's get started. Highlight the second chart. From the Customer's Orders field, you can check Sales and Customer Segment. Now we need to change the chart type. Go to the Design tab, change the Chart Type button, and from Pie category, select 3D Pie. Select Style 8 from Chart Styles. If there is a legend, delete it. From the Analyze tab, press the field buttons and select Hide All. Change the title to Sales per Customer Segment. Let's create a third chart. From Customer Order field, check Sales and Product Category field. Now change the chart type. Go to Design tab, change the chart type, and from Pie category, select the Donut chart. Select Style 8 from the Chart Styles again. From Analyze tab, press Field buttons and select Hide All. Change the title to Sales per Product Category. Finally, highlight the last chart. From the Customer Orders field, drag Sales and drop it into Values area. Now drag the year and drop it into the Axis area. We want average sales per year, so from Values area, click the arrow and then the Field Value Settings. A new window appears. Choose the average calculation to use to summarize our data, then OK. From Design tab, click the Change Chart, type Chart Type, and select 3D Clustered Column Chart. Select Style 8 from Chart Styles. From Analyze tab, press Field buttons and then select Hide All. Delete the legend and change the title to Average Sales per Year. From the bottom right corner, zoom out so that you can see all of the worksheet. The charts are ready. Of course, you can resize or move them if you want. Congratulations, you have completed the dashboard.